Hi everyone, Al Martins from Fence Armor. Great to be with you all again. What is the number one question we get at Fence Armor? Well, as you can tell, I'm here at a playset, and yes, I did major in gymnastics, but I'm not going to be doing it on this set today. Playsets are interesting, and what makes them interesting is they're all like snowflakes. Every one of them is different. You buy them at your big box stores, Home Depot, Lowe's, whichever store you go to. Most of them are sourced, sadly, from offshore, so the lumber sizes aren't what you would expect. Typically they are not traditional 6x6s or 4x4s. There's some other milled thing that they've decided to do in that overseas factory. And now you're struggling to figure out how to protect the bottom of those posts, both on the swing and on the main stage of your set. What do? Well, think of Fence Armor as Lego. We've got all kinds of different blocks. We have all kinds of different sizes, colors, and arrangements to work with your playset. So it isn't just an automatic thing. I've got a playset, can you protect it? What do I need? We need your help. So this video, the hope is I can show you the pieces of Fence Armor that would fit this particular set, and hopefully inspire you on the things you need to do to measure and check and validate what pieces of Fence Armor you need from our website, pick them out, and then have that brought to your home, shipped and installed on your playset, so you can still get years out of it and it's not going to look like it's been chewed up by beavers. So that is what today's video is all about. Stay tuned. We'll get down to the ground here in a minute and look at these posts in more detail. Alright, so the key here on this particular, on all sets, you've got to measure the lumber. Now this is really unusual lumber, as I spoke about earlier. Basically we're talking about 7/8. And if we look across here, we're talking, what is that, 3 1/4? About 3 3/8. So 3 3/8 by 7/8 is not lumber you're going to find at Home Depot or Lowe's. But with Fence Armor we can certainly help. So this is our redwood edition. Black, galvanized would work. Whatever you're looking at, but this is our Demi, or also known as privacy fence. So the reason for that is it covers the face and the radius. You'll notice there's a couple of slots and/or holes on the side and on the face. So what do we need to do for that? Well, this is the 3.5 by 3.5 version, and it'll fit in here with the radiuses. That's 3 3/8, so we can accommodate that. So what I'll do is you'll notice I'll put one here, and I'll put one on the opposite side, and you'll see really that covers that up pretty nicely. I'm going to put it up about a 1/2 inch off the ground in this particular case. Now the other thing you have to keep in mind is, you know, the screws. Screws are 3/4 inch long. The Fence Armor is about 5/8, or I should say about 40 thou thick. So we're going to be in a case where we're just almost breaking through the other side. So you got to be careful with that. If your wood is really thin like this, you may want to consider picking up some shallow screws. And you may find that you want to put it in by hand with a case where your lumber is really thin like this. And that's just right. Of course, the other option is you could come in on this face also, and that way you wouldn't have to worry so much about the depth. But I'm going to try and get it on the other side. And again, that's only for cases where you really have thin lumber. And you'll notice these screws are also color matching your fence armor. Pittsburgh steel, powder coated. Beauty. Now that post isn't going to get beat up anymore by that weed whacker. Now you can weed whack away without worrying about damaging your posts. If posts are really damaged, like these were, you may want to stain them before or paint them so that that wounded area won't get damaged. Now we've got a combination, two pieces of wood. That measures 1 3/4. That face from here to here at an angle is 3 3/8. So what you may want to consider here is a Demi, again for this application. Now if you tried to put a Demi here, you're going to see that this area here is curved and it's not going to manage to protect that. Not going to look right. Over here on this one, we have to put it at an angle, and that'll work over here. You can see how you can set fence armor at an angle to accommodate that 8th weight. So what I'll do is I'll put that one in on this side first. Here we have that case with the Demi. So you can see the Demi will fit nicely over this side, but it's not going to fit here. So this is where I say you need a persuader. We were down in the Grand Canyon taking the mules. They gave us a persuader to get those mules going in the direction we wanted to. So our persuader is a rubber mallet. And I just want to flatten this side. So I'm going to put a little rag over it. And I'm going to flatten that side out. Now you notice this side is over the edge here, so I didn't flatten that, but I was able to flatten this without any issue. And as you can see, the powder coating had no issues with that at all. So now that you've got that in the shape you want, you can put that over there and fasten it. Custom fence armor. There you go. In this case, we could use, again, a Demi, a pair, and what we would do there is flatten both sides to be able to achieve that corner, right? So if you take two Demis and you do that, you have a corner. But when you get into here, you'll notice that these two outer edges need to be persuaded flat. So that's a solution you can have there. Or you can use our new Fence Armor Unis for universal, UNI. So if we take this and we marry them up, you end up creating one full side. Or, because you get 4 of these in a package, you can use it just for the corner. And now you've got a corner that fits perfect on your set. So the Fence Armor Uni is another option to manage corners, as we have in this case. So you don't need to use that persuader in that case. But on this side, because the wood was so thin, we needed to manage that way. A Uni wouldn't fit there. Doesn't have to be over torqued. And then anywhere along the slide. And there you go. There you've got that Uni protection in place. We'll say 7/8 by 3 is up against what you would think is a 2x4, but no way. It's 1 3/8. So the combined distance is 2 inches here with those two. So what you could do here again is use a Demi on either side On the back side, you could use a full-on Demi here, and then on this side we'd flatten one. I like to put a rag over it just so it doesn't mar up. So that's nice and straight. Let's put this over here, and now you got that corner. So that'll handle that side. The key is the weed whacker, it eats the corners and it'll whip around the face. And Fence Armor, because of the radius, deflects the filament so that it's going to walk right past that area. It's not going to really get damaged. Okay. The next point of interest are these legs. They're at different angles. We do make a rock wall version that covers the whole face, and that's for the Home Depot La Chateau kit. And if you need that, we've got those in stock and we can ship them to you in black, and they'll protect that whole entire face. In this case, again, it's unknown angle. Yours will be an unknown angle. You can certainly calculate that, but does it really matter? Not so much. The important thing here is looking at the area you want to protect. And you can see, like I said earlier, the weed whacker hits the corner and that's where it digs in. That's where the filament likes to bite, and that's where you get this damage. So what you want to do is look at that distance, and in this case it's about 4 inches, the combined distance with that faceboard and the backboard here. So you would order a 4-inch Demi. That would do the trick. So this 4-inch now will handle that face right there, and it just fits perfectly there. So that happens to be a perfect fit. Now you may want to get the Pro series, which is a little bit taller, or you can stack 2 of these and you'll get what you want. Just like new. And if you wanted to stack one, you could put another one on top, and now you'd have a stacked series. And if I had wood coming all the way up here, that's probably what I would do. Now what do we do here? Here we've got 3 pieces of wood intersecting at each other. You got this piece here, you got this piece here on the rock wall, and we got the supporting piece behind it. So the 2 points of interest are here and here as far as damage goes. So what I would say is use a Fence Armor Uni in this case, because you again set it at an angle and you'll have what you're looking for there to protect that corner. So the Uni is a very universal product to handle situations similar to this, and of course for irregular lumber. So now you've got that corner handled. This one back here, but this one back here only needs 1 Demi because the weed whacker can't get to the back side. So that's another situation. You don't always have to use them in pairs. You can use them as you need them. I know this is making a long video, but your play center is worth it. You always want to make sure that the screw doesn't pierce the other side. You don't want to hurt anybody. If it does, you'll have to cut it off or grind it. So make sure it doesn't pierce the other side. And most common, you're probably not going to have this thin lumber anyway, but just in case. Now, this particular swing set has, you can see here, a fastener to lock it down to the ground here so it doesn't blow away. In this case, you have a couple of options. One, you can put it above that fastener location so that your fence armor is up here, or you can put it below and drill a hole in the fence armor. So I think for this application I'm just going to put it above for now, and we'll let the homeowner decide if he wants to drill a hole in it later. Because this will be here. I could actually maybe come down a little bit further. I'm thinking about lunch.
You're always thinking about lunch.
And then of course they don't have to be right parallel with each other. If you want to bring the other one down, you can bring the other one down. Beauty. And then we've got one more leg. And this leg is the same condition where there's an anchor. Great. And then on the other side, just above that anchor, so he can reposition that. And again, you can stack them. So what I would do here personally is I would put another Demi here and then drill through it and then fasten my anchors. Guys, so this is the wrap up, and effectively what you see here is a playset now, and it's got Fence Armor on it. One corner, two corners got the Fence Armor Uni. Another corner got a 4x4 Demi dimensional. The other's got 4x4 nominal Fence Armor, which is 3.5 by 3.5 Demis. So in fact, this whole set was done with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Demis and 1 Uni, and that did the entire playset. So it's not a big expense to protect it, so that your playset will last for years and not end up getting damaged by the weed whackers. Well worth it. Mention it to your landscaper. If you've got a landscaper, tell him to call Fence Armor. Let him do the measurements. Let him do all the work, and we'll send him the Fence Armor he needs. You just got to measure the wood. And again, I can't overemphasize the magic of a measuring tape. And this looks like a 2x4, but if you look at it again, that's nowhere near 2x4. Right? That's 1 1/4 by, I'll take it this way, 3 1/4. So our Demis will accommodate that. So you would use a 3.5 by 3.5 Demi, which we have here, and you'll see that covers that section. I would stack another one here, and it would cover the bottom, so that anchors here. Over here, we have the Fence Armor Uni, and that Fence Armor Uni comes in 4 pieces to make one full set. But in this case, we needed 1 here and 1 here. You'd have a couple to spare. But they're perfect for sheds, for play sets, anywhere you have a corner. It's a great application for it. And then back on this side, we were able to flatten one side of the Demi so that you were able to use this radius to protect this side, but this side was just protecting the flat side. So don't forget to use your persuader or rubber mallet like we did here as well, to get over on that side. So thank you for watching. Really appreciate you watching this on playsets. I hope it makes a lot of sense to you. If you're buying one and you're spending a few $1,000s on a playset, or you bought one used and it's damaged, it's always worth staining it or painting it before you put on the Fence Armor, so that that wounded area is protected and it'll stay together for years and look great. Oh yes, please like and subscribe. Hit the buttons as you see fit. Thank you. Don't forget to find Fence Armor at fencearmor.com, or look for a local dealer near you, and always ask your landscaper and or fencer or whoever's putting in your playset to protect it with Fence Armor. They can call us and we'll help them.